You ever wake up thinking it's just going to be another regular day? Maybe a cup of coffee on the porch, a few chores, nothing crazy, and instead find out you've been volunteered into a circus you didn't buy a ticket for. Yeah, that happened. And if you're wondering how in the world a herd of SUVs, a woman in a pastel blazer, and a county deputy all wound up at my farm gate before breakfast, we'll pull up a chair because this is a story you gotta hear. So it starts with honking. Not just a little friendly "hey neighbor" beep, but the kind of insistent get out of the way blast that says someone thinks they've got more important places to be. My border collie Piper bolts off the couch, ears up, and I shuffle outside in my boots with coffee in hand, half awake, half sure it's some early hay delivery. Instead, I'm looking at a whole parade SUVs with back window decals, a sedan with balloons, even a pickup loaded with party stuff all stacked up at my gate like they're waiting for the roller coaster to start. Front of the line, there's this white crossover with a big old event coordination magnet on the door. Lady behind the wheel gives me a wave like we're long-lost pals and I'm late to my own party. Never mind that my party is a private, fully fenced property, posted every 50 feet with signs spelling out in plain English, "My land, my rules, stay out." But I guess rules are suggestions if your name is Mitzi and you're wearing a pastel blazer with a clipboard. She's got two guys wrestling a tent out of the back, already unlatching my gate from the outside. That's strike 1 and 2, but who's counting? Mitzi gives me her best morning show voice. We're right on time. Where should the caterer park? And I just stand there, coffee mug still steaming, trying to figure out if I've sleepwalked into someone else's reality. For what I ask, because nobody's told me I'm hosting anything. The anniversary party, of course. Your board said you'd be difficult, but we have the certificate of insurance and everything. The association is thrilled you're lending your pool and gazebo, 30 years of community. She's talking like I ought to be handing out name tags. Hold up, I say, still half caffeinated. What board? I got chickens, not a board. She clicks her tongue. All business now says the annexation was approved. My parcel's on their membership list and it'd be unbecoming to make a fuss in front of the vendors. You ever feel your ears get hot? Like you're the only one in the room who read the instructions I told Mitzi last month, actually, when she tried to slide a welcome packet under my gate that I'm not part of her HOA, never was, never will be. But Mitzi isn't one to let facts get in the way. Times change, communities evolve, she says. Important people are coming. You don't want to be on the wrong side of that. And that's when I realize, yeah, I'm about to spend my Saturday explaining how reality works. I draw the line, tell them no tents, no cars, nobody's stepping foot past this gate. Mitzi goes straight to the phone and dials the county. Yes, I'd like to report a disturbance. We have a member refusing to comply with the scheduled event. The tent guys freeze. Clipboard guy starts inspecting his shoes like they just grew new laces. And then comes the cavalry. Deputy Lane rolls up, lights off, just the kind of guy who knows everyone's name from pancake breakfasts. Mitzi launches into her speech association event arrangements made. I'm causing a scene. Lane turns to me all calm. You hosting anything today? No, sir, just trying to keep my property private. Mitzi insists again that I'm a member. Lane does that little cop inhale sorting fact from fiction. Ma'am, you can't annex someone into an HOA without their consent. That's a civil issue, but do you have permission to be on his land? Mitzi puffs up claims, bylaws, shared amenities, the whole 9 yards. Lane shuts it down. No, that's not how this works. If you don't have permission, it's trespassing. He tells the tent guys to pack up. Mitzi's pink around the edges, sputtering about invoices and reservations. Then Mitzi tries to shift the party to the cul-de-sac, but she wants parking through my field. Lane says if there's not enough room, there's not enough room, simple as that. By now, cars are backing out, guests are texting each other, and the caterer does a U-turn back to the highway. Mitzi calls someone named Sable to rally the board. Lane tells everyone plain as day, "You're not crossing onto this property. Try it, you'll be cited. Refuse to leave, you'll be arrested." Clipboard guy nearly salutes as he hustles out. Before she leaves, Mitzi hisses, "We'll see how you feel when the board issues fines." I grin. You can't fine someone who isn't a member. But send a letter if it makes you feel better. And they roll out balloons, bouncing against the headrest, pride a little bruised. Lane sticks around, asks if I want to tell the rest. So I back up a sec, explain how 2 weeks after I moved in, Mitzi tried to rope me in with a binder and a welcome to the neighborhood. Declined politely. Next came the invoice for dues, then a notice for non-compliance because my trailer was parked on my gravel behind my barn. Cows included as witnesses. Showed up to their garage board meeting, told them again, not a member, not interested. "We'll take it under advisement," Mitzi says, smiling tight. Days later, Sable emails the board has voted to annex adjacent parcels. I reply, "You can't do that without owner consent. I'm not signing." Sable sends back a spreadsheet membership list with my parcel tacked on the bottom, as if that makes it gospel. After that, folks from the committee walk my fence with a tape measure just for the directory. Sure, and I'm just letting you leave now. A couple days before the so-called party, they slip a glossy invitation under my gate, my name, their event, my pool and gazebo all graciously offered. I reply, "This event is not happening on my property." No answer, the train was already rolling. Lane shakes his head, tells me keep a second lock on the gate document. Everything boring wins. My neighbor Harper, who knows everyone's business and usually brings banana bread when things get tense, says Mitzi's been telling the whole neighborhood I agreed to join. People assumed it was true. Harper sighs. Stings. I won't lie, I'm no hermit. I help out, I show up when someone needs a hand. But I'm not here to be a doormat. So I called my attorney, Ari. Explained the whole mess party bills annexation, the sheriff at my gate. Ari says we send a cease and desist, make it official, check for filings. Next thing I know, Ari finds they did record something, a fake notice of inclusion citing bylaws attached to my parcel number. Not a lien, but it'd show up on a title search, could spook a lender or a buyer. Ari drafts the demand letter, files for a restraining order, and kicks it all up to the State Consumer Protection Division. Mitzi's board doesn't get the message. I start getting bills marked final notice before action for dues, legal fees, even a line for event repositioning costs. Yeah, they tried to bill me for making them move their own party. Flyers show up at my mailbox. Emergency meetings are called. Clipboard guy knocks, wants my signature just to acknowledge you've been notified. I acknowledge your attempt. I'm not signing. He leaves muttering about how everyone else manages to be neighborly. But this isn't about being neighborly. A bogus filing could cost me, and if I let it slide, next summer's just going to be more of the same. I document everything. Ari files a petition to quiet title. The county issues a restraining order, no more enforcement, no more pretending my land is theirs. Mitzi gets served and 3 neighbors text me within the hour because nothing travels faster than neighborhood gossip. Turns out they forged my name on a so-called owner acknowledgement. Their notary admits he stamped it without ever seeing me at Mitzi's request. Lane recommends charges. Ari sends a letter to every homeowner, lays out the facts, and a quiet neighbor named Theo moves to recall the board. At the next big meeting, Mitzi's out, Sable's out. Theo's in, and the bylaws get changed for good. No more annexations without everyone's written consent, board training on legal limits, the works. The HOA mails a release of the bogus claim, reimburses my fees, and even sponsors the 4-H Showmanship Award with a banner, "Community means consent." Mitzi takes a deal community service off any board for 3 years. The notary loses his commission, pays a fine, and ends up teaching Forms 101 at the library. Insurance won't cover intentional acts, so the HOA has to pony up from reserves. Life goes back to the usual budget's grass holiday lights. A real estate agent stops using my pool in her brochures, and nobody asks about it at the extension workshop I host about property lines. That honestly feels like the best compliment. Last thing Harper tells me, the kids in the park drew a map houses park, a big square labeled farm with the dog, the word no, and a smiley face. I think they get it better than some adults. So if you're ever wondering what's the real cost of not pushing back, it's more than you'd think. Boundaries, once you let them slip, take years to get back. I got lucky. I had receipt support and a good lawyer who likes things boring and correct. Now I keep a magnet on my fridge. Community means consent. Right next to a line from the judge, good intentions, don't pave over other people's rights. So tell me, when it comes to standing your ground, where do you draw the line? Ever had to be the villain just to do what's right? Drop your stories or your thoughts down below. I'm here for the debate, and I bet I'm not the only one.